I'm Brittany, this is Mo Run, and welcome to Gaywatch, where we watch and read gay things. Today, we are finishing Volume 10 of Erha, if I can get the bookmark to cooperate. Today, we are finishing Volume 10 of Erha, and here's how it works. We read for a couple of hours, we take a break around halfway through, and today will actually be a little bit shorter than a couple of hours, because we only have around, I think, like 32 pages to read, and we typically read around 40 to 50. Before we get started, though, just a quick couple of things. If you are looking for more queer bookish chatting, we've got two options. One, we literally have something called the book chat, which is for YouTube members and patrons. That happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:15, so right before these streams. We also, down in the description box, have an evergreen link to the public version of the Gaywatch Discord, which is mostly dedicated to queer bookish things. There are also trigger warnings down in the description box should you need them. And I think that's literally it. It was a bit of a struggle of a live stream last time while my internet figured out its identity crisis, but now it is back. And it is fine, and we will actually be able to finish Volume 10 today, which involves getting to the end of this short story called The Only Possibility, in which we try to discover a possibility that involves Mo Run not being gay and or in love with Chuaning. So I don't think it's going to turn out real great for Shui Meng, but I have my money on him witnessing something. I told this to the book chat. That's got to be where we're going with this, right? It simply has to. I think we've been dying to have Shui Meng directly witness something. And by we, I also mean Meatbun. It feels like it's something she desperately wants. So we are on page 305 for chapter 4 of The Only Possibility. Ice cream for sale. Get real, I'm not buying you any, Shui Meng said impatiently. Plus, remember, we're in the game. She can't see us and we can't eat ice cream. You got it? The little dragon rolled its eyes, sorely affronted. I was just saying. Shui Meng ignored it, scrutinizing the crowd. Looks like a spring trip organized by the preschool. Look for Mo Run. They spotted him soon enough. Mo Run's family was poor, and he was a scruffy-looking kid, so he didn't have many friends. Is that the one possibility? The only possibility is that Mo Run has, in one way or another, a shit-impoverished childhood. As expected, he didn't crowd her out in the cart like the rest of his classmates. He could buy a whole week's worth of breakfast for the price of that ice cream. No way would he waste the money on something that would melt away in minutes. Mo Run sat alone in the shade of a tree, staring at his classmates. He wanted to taste the ice cream so badly he unconsciously licked his lips, then bit down on his bottom lip to hide the movement. Actually, he looked just like the candle dragon. Shui Meng stifled a snort of laughter. Embarrassed, the dragon snapped, "What are you laughing at? How dare!" "Oh, so sorry." Oh, did audio get nabbed? No, it doesn't look like it. Buffer. That's fun. I got nothing negative on my end. That's interesting. Nothing negative on my end says that it's not OBS. This has to be a YouTube problem. Because my streaming and my internet and everything looks fine. Are we still buffering? Hang on. Ice cream nuked immediately. Okay, fine now, but missed the first part. All right, hang on. Let me check something to make sure that it really isn't on my end. That has to be a YouTube thing. We're good now. Missed literally from the beginning of the chapter. Fantastic. Hang on. All right, so we'll go ahead. We will start this one more time. But then, of course, throw up stop signs if that happens again, because I really can't see anything off of my end. So now we get to yell at YouTube, because I have legit 0 dropped frames. Huh. All right. So we are still on page 305 for chapter 4. And also, silver linings, shout out to Liv for once again supplying a bunch of memberships to people. Thank you so much, Liv. You are a delight as per usual. And like somebody else said, you have so many names. Windmaster, Liv Stradamus, L, as far as I'm concerned. Alrighty. Ice cream for sale. Chocolate ice cream, banana ice cream, all kinds of sorbet. Come try a scoop. A girl wearing a pair of bunny ears waved a wooden sign, cheerfully trying to catch the attention of passers-by. By the looks of her, a student working a summer job. Her face was young and lively, cheeks ruddy in the sun. Her lips were as glossy as a syrup-coated cherry on a cheesecake. Even the 2 pimples on her forehead couldn't diminish her cuteness. She was surrounded by a gaggle of kids in yellow sunbonnets, chirping at her like a flock of sparrows. "Ma'am, strawberry, please. Me first. I want 3. Xiaojia, can I touch your bunny ears?" Miss Bunny Ears flashed her smile at all of them, but Shui Meng noticed she gave everyone who called her Xiaojia a generous scoop and handed them their ice cream first, whereas everyone who called her ma'am was made to wait till the very end, only to receive a noticeably smaller portion. Shui Meng and the candle dragon watched from nearby. The dragon licked its lips. "I want ice cream too. 2 scoops, 1 matcha, 1 chocolate." "Get real, I'm not buying you any," Shui Meng said impatiently. "Plus, remember, we're in the game. She can't see us and we can't eat ice cream. You got it?" The little dragon rolled its eyes, sorely affronted. "I was just saying." Shui Meng ignored it, scrutinizing the crowd. "Looks like a spring trip organized by the preschool. Look for Mo Run." They spotted him soon enough. Mo Run's family was poor, and he was a scruffy-looking kid, so he didn't have many friends. As expected, he didn't crowd around the cart like the rest of his classmates. He could buy a whole week's worth of breakfast for the price of that ice cream. No way would he waste the money on something that would melt away in minutes. Mo Run sat alone in the shade of a tree, staring at his classmates. He wanted to taste the ice cream so badly he unconsciously licked his lips, then bit down on his bottom lip to hide the movement. Actually, he looked just like the candle dragon. Shui Meng stifled a snort of laughter. Embarrassed, the dragon snapped, "What are you laughing at? How dare!" Mo Run had no ice cream, no friends, and only a pathetic assortment of snacks in his bag. He sat dolefully beneath the tree. Come noon, he gnawed on a stale piece of bread and scattered the crumbs by the tree's roots. He stared raptly at the ants marching in lines to share the tiny morsels with their comrades. "Don't push, there's plenty for everyone," he murmured, hugging his knees as he watched his ant friends. He was so bored, he started giving them names. Brad Pitt, that piece is too heavy. I don't think you'll be able to lift it. You want to find a smaller one? Something about naming an ant Brad Pitt is the height of comedy. That we're clocking Western entertainers left and right. Holy shit. Jimmy Fallon, wait your turn. Leonardo DiCaprio saw that crumb first. Don't bully your juniors. Oh, wait, actually, you guys are the same age, aren't you? He was in his own little world, oblivious to the bustle around him. Shui Meng and the dragon sat on either side of him, two translucent forms. But it seemed like none of the three figures under the tree were actually there. Everyone at school, his classmates, his teachers, seemed to look straight through him. Mo Run didn't get upset or cry over this. After all, he was having a great time with his ant buddies. About the time Mo Run was in preschool, a craze for the space opera the satire rears its head. That would be Star Warts with a T in there. Was sweeping the country. Apparently, the little boy had gotten caught up in it too. Princess Leia, you don't have to fight over that. Here, I have more bread. R2-D2, don't get lost. The anthill's this way. His intense focus on his play began to draw the attention of other children. The chubbiest kid in the class lurched over to him, round cheeks trembling. As soon as he heard Mo Run talking to R2-D2, the kid's eyes widened. What you doing? Who are you talking to? Mo Run threw up a hand to block his way. Watch out, you're about to step on the Millennium Falcon. The other kid gaped at him. Pointing at the ants, Mo Run introduced them with a grin. See? That one's Brad Pitt, that's Jimmy Fallon, and Leonardo DiCaprio, and Justin Timberlake! You can't clock me like that. Meatbun, you can't be calling me out like that, okay? He wasn't my favorite member of NSYNC, but he was in second place, okay? You can't be coming for me like this. And this one with the big nose is Han Solo. Why are you doing Han dirty like that? Harrison Ford did not deserve this. The chubby kid looked concerned. Do you have a fever? Ants don't have noses. I'm good. I feel fine, Mo Run answered patiently. Ants do have noses. You just have to look really carefully. And do you see that one with the bit of red? That's Britney Spears. Tell me Meatbun is a millennial without telling me Meatbun is a millennial. I feel very close to her in this moment. Then, who are you? The kid asked, a note of fear creeping into his voice. Mo Run pondered for a moment, then said decisively, I'm Darth Vader. She thinks she's funny. Shui Meng and the little dragon were losing it. Shui Meng threw an invisible arm over the boy's shoulder, tears of mirth streaming down his face. Oh my god, you're actually the best, kiddo. After we're done with this job, I'm gonna find Mo Run in real life and become his friend for real. No! You can't give me feelings during the I can say words. Satirical, like, fluffy piece of ridiculousness. You can't be making me feel things. That's not fair. Meatbun. That's simply no. There are rules, and you must abide by them. How did I get knocked that far off course? In half a second. There we go. The candle dragon, too, was wheezing with laughter. Then you'll end up a super powerful Sith Lord, too. Unfortunately, the other kid didn't find Mo Run interesting at all. Rather, he thought he might be touched in the head. He threw him one last wary glance, then jogged away with his shoulders hunched like a squat, lumbering tank. He was moving so fast he stumbled over a pebble. After hoisting up his pants, he continued shuffling away from Mo Run as quick as he could. A few minutes later, Mo Run was suddenly inspired to build a park for the ants. Shui Meng sat next to him and watched as he fashioned a bridge from a twig and a sunshade from a leaf. He piled pebbles into a tiny fence. Still, he was unsatisfied. He carved a hollow into the dirt, one not too deep, then dusted his hands and set out toward a little creek in the woods next to the playground. What's he doing? The little dragon asked, perplexed. It peered down at Mo Run's ant park. Shui Meng looked at the hole. I think he wants to make a lake for the ants. Doesn't he know the water will just seep into the dirt? This time, Shui Meng was the one to roll his eyes. Seriously? He's in preschool. He's not even 6. As they grumbled back and forth, Shui Meng glimpsed another child walking by on the gravel trail. He blinked, then jabbed the little dragon with his elbow, looking stricken. Quick, what time is it? To the second! The jab sent the little dragon flying in a somersault. The hell are you doing? It snarled. Use your words. Can I at least get a please? Now! Shui Meng looked like he'd seen a ghost. Check the time. This is the boss fight. Huh? What? But... The candle dragon choked as if it followed Shui Meng's line of sight. Oh, fuck! Both of them began frantically patting themselves down for a watch or anything they could use to tell the time. The dragon wailed piteously. What are the chances of Chuaning being here? Well, given that the story's called The Only Possibility, I think that increases the odds a little bit. Didn't you say they're like a buy one, get one shampoo deal? Why are you acting so surprised? Unable to find a watch or a phone, Shui Meng was growing increasingly frantic. I take it back, the dragon howled. They're not a 2-pack of shampoo. At least you can cut those apart after you get home. These two are like the Oreo filling in a cookie. Well, if we're going to talk about... Regardless of what exactly the right analogy was, as the young Chuaning walked past the tree, he couldn't help taking notice of the curious arrangement of twigs, pebbles, and leaves, as well as the incomplete little hollow in the ground. He paused, then slowly approached the deserted tree. Shui Meng and the candle dragon didn't count. The canopy cast a soft shadow over his fair skin. He gazed down silently at the ant park, then looked around. No one was nearby. Had the project been abandoned? Chuaning pondered for a moment. Well, okay. If Mo-Run isn't even 6, then that makes Chuaning... God, what exactly is their age difference? That makes Chuaning what? 10, 11? Something like that? Okay. This is important to keep in mind. Because for a second there, I was imagining, like, 5-year-old Chuaning. 10 years old. Thank you, Zareem. Wow. One glance away, and I'm not that far off course. Chuaning pondered for a moment. Then, in his crisp white button-up shirt, pale blue overalls, and his Italian leather shoes, he crouched down in the dirt. Unaware of Shui Meng and the little dragon's inaudible protests, he began fiddling with the half-built park Mo-Run had left behind. We're screwed, said Shui Meng. We're so fucking screwed, said the dragon. The Chuaning root still got triggered, the two said in unison. When Mo-Run reappeared with a plastic bottle full of water from the creek, he was taken aback to find an unexpected visitor next to his precious park. Stop! The young Chuaning jumped in surprise. Eyes widening like a startled kitten, he stared at the startled kitten? You think I'm committed to bits, okay? I am not committed to bits. Meatbun has a commitment to the bit. He stared at the kid rushing toward him. I wasn't... Chuaning was still holding a twig in one hand. Embarrassed, he looked down at the park, then looked back up. I was just... The grimy little kid nervously shielded his ant park behind him. I swear I have a building permit. Not the building permit. He's 5! I'm alright. Chuaning blinked. You can't tear it down, little Mo-Run insisted. I wasn't planning to. Mo-Run gave him a quizzical look. I think it's really cool. Can I play with you? Chuaning asked, shy. And that was that. Chuaning suggested they replace the walls Mo-Run had piled up with pebbles with ones made of twigs. Both agreed this was an excellent idea. Chu Ning found some suitable twigs in a pile of leaves. Mo Run drove them into the soft, spongy dirt at even intervals. Together, they replaced the wall. After lining the hollow in the dirt with a plastic bag, they poured in the creek water to finish the man-made lake. Chu Ning had picked up a handful of high-tongue petals from who knew where, which he scattered over the lake's surface. He even placed a few little ants onto the petals so that they could enjoy a perfumed boat ride. Mo Run was a bit too enthusiastic excavating the lake and splashed mud onto Chu Ning's expensive clothes. But Chu Ning didn't care at all. It turned out he had quite a lot in common with this scrawny, grimy kid whom he'd just met. The two played joyfully, with no thought given to the stains on their clothes, the mud on their hands, or the sweat on their faces. All that mattered were those two pairs of eyes shining bright as stars, and the park for ants rising up under their hands like a dream come true. Fuck this bitch. Can I just say, absolutely, it's the way she words is this is a satirical little romp that makes Shui Meng what are you doing busting out with a paragraph like that, ma'am? You don't need to be doing all that. At last the sun began to set. It was time for the preschoolers to go home. Chu Ning, on the other hand, had come to the park with his father. He could stay as long as he liked. Finish the tower for me, okay? Mo Run said as the rest of the class streamed toward the bus. He stood reluctantly. Chu Ning's little face was usually hard to read, but this made him smile. Okay. When I'm done, I'll get my daddy to take a picture of it. Remember to show me next time. I will. Mo Run blinked, then gasped as it hit him. Oh, we played together so long, but I didn't even ask you your name. Chu Ning froze, then grinned, his face lighting up. Yeah, I forgot too. Mo Run started to laugh. It feels like we've known each other forever. Chu Ning pressed his lips together without saying anything, but his eyes curved in a smile. I'm Mo Run. I'm in pre-K at Drunken Fish Elementary. Mo Run hesitated, then stuck out one mud-encrusted hand like a businessman making a deal on TV. He quickly checked himself, pulling back his hand and wiping it on his shirt, then presented it to Chu Ning again. Nice to meet you, he said, grinning. Without a moment's hesitation, Chu Ning took the kid's grimy little paw. His soft black hair fluttered in the breeze. Nice to meet you too. I'm Chu Ning. You know, suddenly I think they're pretty good together, the little dragon mumbled. You don't say, Shui Meng replied, feeling a headache coming on. It's making me a little emotional, actually. No, you can't get emotional. You're being brainwashed, the dragon cried. We have to do our part for the greater good of genetic engineering. That's right. Shui Meng looked like he'd been slapped awake. We know where and when Chu Ning will show up now, he said, a fresh determination in his voice. Start this part over again from the beginning. This time we'll be prepared. We'll definitely prevent the Chu Ning route from triggering. That's the end of the chapter. How dare she, man? Love makes a good point. Love says they just want to ship. Like, yeah, at this point, they're shippers as much as anyone else. Also, hi, Love. I didn't see you come in. We're on page 313 for chapter 5. Listen. In this simulation, at least, we're dealing, like, with kids. So, like, how are you gonna... Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna pick up, like, a 10-year-old Chu Ning and, like, bury him in a hole? How are you gonna keep him from... And even if you did, just, like, dug a hole, buried a 10-year-old... What? Like, Mo Run wasn't going to trip over the slight mound of dirt in the... You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get around it. They're too gay. This time, Shui Meng's plan would succeed. There was no such thing. I just, I don't fucking, there was no such thing as an unbreakable ship. Only players who didn't try hard enough to break them. In this game, Shuemeng had mentally redubbed Mo Run Totally Isn't Gay. Shuemeng had put on a masterclass demonstration of his talent and wit. For once, he would keep these two damned male lovebirds away from each other. He and the Candle Dragon flipped through the booklet. They picked out a female lead and hashed out a plan. The man and the dragon each patrolled their own territory. Shuemeng kept a close watch over Mo Run on the north side of the playground, while the paper dragon stood guard over Chu Waning in the south. At last, when the spring outing had ended, Mo Run got back on the school bus, having seen neither hide nor hair of Chu Waning. It felt like cause for celebration. We did it! And we sparked a friendship between Mo Run and that girl. They'll be besties in no time. Once they become teenagers, they'll sneak around behind their parents' backs. They'll make out in their uniforms behind the gym after school. They'll hide boxes of gross, super sweet chocolate in each other's backpacks. There'll be a sudden thunderstorm after evening study hall, and he'll carry her on his back so he won't get her pink ballet flats wet. They're writing their own fic at this point. Shuemeng threw his head back and laughed uproariously. Pink ballet flats is a bit much, he paused, eyes sparkling. But carrying his girlfriend home in a thunderstorm is an excellent idea. How tall will Mo Run be in high school? The dragon rifled through his... Sorry, there was a typo. The dragon rifled through the booklet. Between 6'1" and 6'3", it depends. Somewhere in that range. He's really... A strange expression flitted over Shuemeng's face. A flash of envy, quickly suppressed. The effect was vaguely pained, as if he was suffering from a toothache. He pouted instead of finishing his sentence and hoped the little dragon hadn't noticed that he was wearing padded insoles in his shoes. At any rate, their love story will be smooth sailing from here on out, Shuemeng said firmly. It has to be, otherwise I have no idea what I'll say to Jiangxi. In the interest of ensuring the budding relationship between Mo Run and the girl would take secure root, free from disruptions, Shuemeng and the dragon observed them for some time. Conveniently, the passage of time could be adjusted at will in the simulation. They just had to tell the mission guide when they wanted to go. We want to see Mo Run's first date with this girl, said the Candle Dragon. A proper one-on-one date, Shuemeng added. No third wheels. I mean, I don't know if you can call anything a date at their age, but you're clever, aren't you? You know what we mean. He'd already forgotten that he'd called this guide artificial idiocy. He prompted, like playing together, doing homework, hanging out, and doing stuff together, playing house, whatever, anything along those lines. Eager to redeem himself, the guide swiftly brought them 10 days into the future. It was dark out. They stood outside an apartment building in a large housing complex. Behind the creamy yellow squares of its windows, they could hear housewives doing dishes, children raising their voices, and the faint drone of the anchor of the evening news. It must have been about 7 o'clock at night. Mo Run appeared in the distance. He looked just as they'd hoped. He had a small backpack slung over his shoulders and carried a lunchbox, emblazoned with a bootleg Winnie the Pooh. The cartoon's nose had flaked off, making the already unfortunate knockoff bear look comically sinister. But the bad vibes from the bear were wholly offset by the little girl chattering away at Mo Run's side. I live on the 2nd floor. My dad's on a business trip, but my mom's home. Don't be scared, she's really nice. The girl's eyes curved into crescents, her long lashes fluttering in the orange light of the street lamps. I told her you were coming over to play yesterday. She said she's going to make her salted egg yolk wings. Plus, she's getting the cotton cheesecake from the shop next door. You have to wait in line for it. Do you like cotton cheesecake? Mo Run stammered. Shuemeng noticed the soles were peeling on his shabby sneakers. I've never had it. But the girl didn't mock him. After a beat of surprise, she laughed gaily. You'll definitely like it. If you don't, I'll eat yours. Just don't tell my mom. I eat so much she's always worried I'll get fat. Oh, she's headed for an interesting... it's a simulation. Mo Run ducked his head, kicking the grit by the side of the road with his disintegrating shoes. This was asking for trouble. Now those tattered sneakers looked even more unpresentable. You won't get fat, he mumbled. What did you say? You won't get fat, Mo-Run repeated. Even in the dim light, Shui-Meng spotted a faint blush on his cheeks. I'll give you all my cake if you want it. He bit his lip and turned awkwardly aside. This time, even the slow on the uptake candle dragon noticed the redness of his ears. I won't tell your mom. The paper dragon cavorted around them in excited circles. Oh, it crowed. I'm in love with this girl. I love her too, Shui-Meng agreed, grinning. Didn't I say it? There are so many sweet girls in this world. How could there possibly be a gay man who can't be swayed? He protested too much. Look, if it keeps going this well, we'll wrap this assignment up in no time. I want to see their wedding already. No, I'm ready to meet their kid. The little dragon's eyes shone as it loop-de-looped through the air. So what if I'm a single dragon? It wiped a fake tear from its eye with a little dragon claw. As long as my ship sails, I'd happily be single for 100 years. Oh, we're gonna relive that. Hang on. As long as my ship sails, I'd be happily single for 100 years. They followed Mo-Run and the girl upstairs, then observed as the two children ate dinner, split a piece of cheesecake, watched TV, and did their homework together. Oh, puppy love. Truly the best time to find a girlfriend was in primary school. Otherwise, you might find that by the time you graduated from college, you didn't have a single female friend in your contacts. Maybe that was the point where the gay bar started to look like a good option. Shui-Meng? Shui-Meng. Baby, sweetie, sugar, honey. If the gay bar ever starts to look like a good option, my face hurts. I have so much news for him. At 8:30, Shui-Meng and the dragon followed Mo-Run out of the apartment as he said goodbye to the girl and her mother. With a spring in his step, Mo-Run left to catch the last bus. The two interlopers followed with dopey grins on their faces. They continued to watch. Mo-Run came to visit a few more times, but he seemed to be worried he'd give her parents the wrong impression if he came too often. When he wanted to play, he snuck around the back of the building and tossed pebbles against the girl's bedroom window. Looks like his angsty teen years have arrived ahead of schedule, Shui-Meng remarked. His arms were crossed over his chest, but his eyes were sparkling. I think we've got this in the bag, the paper dragon said. The little dragon had jinxed it. No sooner had the words left its mouth than Mo-Run's aim slipped, and the pebble hit the neighbor's window instead. The two CWPB representatives, oblivious to the wheels of fate churning before their eyes, were still congratulating themselves. What a devoted little kid this Mo-Run is. And so romantic, too. After they start dating, this will be such a cute memory. Their enthusiastic chatter almost drowned out the sound of the neighbor's window opening. A young voice called out, sleepy and clearly annoyed. Pulling pranks at this hour, don't you think it's a bit much? Shui-Meng and the dragon felt like buckets of ice had been dumped on their heads. In italics! Maybe it's Mabel. Wait, no, maybe it's him again. Man and dragon wore identical looks of horror. They swallowed, then turned fearfully. Each wail was more terrible than the last, like death knells ringing in the day of reckoning. They turned to one another and cried in unison, "What the fuck? Chuan-Ning lives next door to that girl?" They couldn't accept it. How could they possibly accept it? How could they let fate reach out and slap them across the face like this? How could they let the pride of their country turn into a fruity-ass queer? That was the wrong kind of pride. I just hope and pray and yearn for one of the bonus stories to be Shui-Meng learning something about himself. Please, please. I am praying to the danmei gods. Please, I'm begging. At least they met under unhappy circumstances this time, said Shui-Meng, trying to find the silver lining, though he looked deflated. That's right, said the dragon, trying to convince itself as much as Shui Meng. After such a bad first impression, there's no way they become friends. There's still hope for this route. We should keep trying. I think so too. At the very least, we should see what happens a year from now. In agreement, they told the guide to zip them a year in the future. They found themselves in the same housing complex on a night much like the previous one. Mo Run was standing in the same spot under the flickering orange streetlight, plunged into darkness every so often when the voltage dropped. He was even using the same little pebbles to hit a window gleaming in the moonlight. But the window he was hurling pebbles at belonged not to the girl, but rather to the girl's neighbor, Chu Wanning. Tell me this is a coincidence, the little dragon said weakly. Tell me he just has awful aim and missed the window he was trying to hit. Shui Meng was a rational young man. He watched in silence, ashen-faced. One errant pebble could be chalked up to chance, but 10 pebbles could only mean true love. No one could possibly hit the wrong window 10 times in a row. The person he wanted to see was the boy who lived next to the girl, Chu Wanning. What the actual fucking hell? The window opened, and the fragrance of magnolia spilled into the room on the summer breeze. Behind the fluttering gauze curtain, Chu Wanning was wearing a set of fleece pajamas. Though his expression was sleepy and impatient, he had brought a little stool over to the window. He clambered atop it, then stood on his tiptoes and peered down. What are you doing here again? Chu Wanning yawned, elbows propped on the windowsill. His voice was soft as he asked Mo Run languidly, Weren't we just playing basketball this afternoon? Mo Run grinned up at him from beneath the street lamps. He'd brought several paper airplanes. One by one, he tossed them up toward Chu Wanning. Finally, one of them caught a lucky breeze and landed in the room. Chu Wanning unfolded the little paper plane. A drawing of a white cat next to a little dog revealed itself, along with some words scrawled in yellow crayon. I forgot to tell you good night. Hope you have sweet dreams. Tomorrow we'll play in the swimming, I don't know how to spell this word, pool. Let's ask our friend Ling Er to come if she's interested. I haven't learned this word yet either. Both interested and swimming were not spelled correctly. Signed, Mo Run. So, the paper dragon twitched with each word. He and Chu Wanning are we, and the adorable little girl next door is our friend. Shui Meng didn't answer for a good while. He scoured every obscure corner of his mind for some refined or subtle phrase to appropriately describe the misery he felt right now. Perhaps some Tang or Song dynasty poetry, or Yuan dynasty plays, even a Western opera would do, the kind of pithy line that made him break out in goosebumps. But he couldn't think of a single thing. At last, rage burning a hole through him, he gritted out, God damn homosexual, fuck you and your fucking grandpa. Watch your language there. My language is none of your business. I'm so mad I could die. That's not what I meant, said the paper dragon. I'm just saying, if you fucked his grandpa, you'd be a homosexual too. Shui Meng glared at the dragon in speechless fury. And it would be such a problematic age gap, like an aged Mariana Trench. That's the end of the chapter. Oh. Reading this makes the face hurt. We're on page 321 for chapter 6. You know? Actually, hang on. Let me clock how many pages we have left, because we may not take a break. Actually, no. Yeah, we won't take a break, because we only have like, it ends at, yeah, we've got like 13, 14 pages left. So we're not going to take a break. We're just going to go right on through. And wherever we end for the day is wherever we end for the day. Did I give the page number? We're on page 321 for chapter 6. After trying root upon root upon root, Shui Meng and the little candle dragon came to a realization. Perhaps the problem wasn't that Mo Run was gay, but rather that on every branching path of his life he would always meet and fall in love with Chu Wanning. The two stood in Chief Jiang's office, giving their mission report. Instead of racking our brains trying to introduce the right girl to Mo Run, we'd be better off killing Chuaning, the Candle Dragon concluded. Or changing Chuaning's sex, added Shuimeng. Or Mo Run's. Regardless, there's nothing to be done. No matter how we play the game or how many romanceable female characters are available, Mo Run always ends up with Chuaning. Chief Jiangshi glowered as he listened to these two underlings' excuses. Cheek propped in one hand, he flipped through the thick report. These pages detailed the outcomes of Mo Run's routes with each of the different female leads. The conclusion was the same for each. He and Chuaning always ended up together. I thought this was a dating sim with lots of different routes, said Shuimeng, his expression every bit as dour as Jiangshi's. The slight allusion to relation there is truly diabolical. Who'd have thought it's the most boring kind, with only one possible ending? We got really close to a title drop there. Oh no, that is part of the same. Sorry, punctuation confusion. Chief Jiang, have you ever played The Legend of Sword and Fairy? Even in 1998, or was it 2001? I can't remember. Anyway, even that ancient RPG had a hidden... Wow. Even that ancient RPG had a hidden storyline where the doomed protagonist, Lin Yueru, survived. Ancient RPG going back to 1998 through 2001. Why do I feel like Meatbun just clocked herself with that? He bit his bottom lip, downcast. Mo Run's entire life is worse than Sword and Fairy 1 from 1998. He doesn't even have a hidden storyline. Jiangshi's young underling rambled on, standing in front of his desk with his arms crossed. Chief Jiang didn't say a word in reply. As he skimmed that report of failure after failure, his scowl deepened. We don't have to limit ourselves to this lifetime, Jiangshi said at last, glancing up. Have you looked into Mo Run's other incarnations? Of course we have, Shuimeng answered. We looked at the Republican era, future timelines. We tried everything we could. Look, just keep reading. The second half of the report was devoted to possible female pairings from many of Mo Run's other incarnations. The Republican era timeline was the most depressing, the dragon said, piping up. In that one, Mo Run was the son of a rich landowner. When he was little, his father betrothed him to the daughter of another family in town. As soon as the girl was old enough, Mo Run was supposed to marry her and bring her into the family. Oh, said Jiangshi, and that didn't work. The dragon was caught between laughter and tears. Sure didn't. Before the girl came of age, Mo Run left home and joined the Nationalists. He announced he wanted the freedom to choose his own future, so he rejected the marriage arrangement. And then what? Then fighting broke out, first with the Japanese, then the Civil War. The Nationalists sent him to infiltrate the Communists as a spy. Ha! Shuimeng heaved a sigh. He reached over the desk and flipped the pages to the section about the Republican-era timeline. This photo here, the rascal looks all neatly turned out, doesn't he? You can't tell if he's a wolf in sheep's clothes. I'm too tickled. You can't tell he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. So everything was going fine in the beginning. Jiangshi could already see where this was going. He asked dryly, how did Chuaning show up this time? I'm getting there, said Shuimeng, waving a hand. He was the commander of the unit Mo Run infiltrated. During an ambush, Mo Run took a bullet and passed out from blood loss. It was Commander Chu who carried that nationalist spy off the battlefield and into the safety of the trenches. In every universe, he's carrying Mo Run to safety. I saw that. I saw that. Jiangshi blinked. Chuaning nearly died saving him, the Candle Dragon added helpfully. Jiangshi sighed. So after Mo Run woke up, he betrayed the Nationalists and gave up being a spy. He became fully committed to Chuaning's side. He didn't even phrase it as a question. Through the gun smoke and the gore, he could almost see Mo Run's transformation in that other timeline. Yeah, said Shuimeng, rolling his eyes, and then they fell in love. They turned down all the lady comrades people tried to introduce to them. They'd fought side by side. They'd lain in the same trench, hugging their rifles. Hugging their rifles. Staring up at the stars. I don't think Shuimeng intended to have to allude to what he alluded to at all. I think Meatbun did. They exchanged bullets as tokens and wore them as matching necklaces tucked beneath their clothes. After the communists won, they moved into the same compound. Those two confirmed bachelors made thousands of girls lose their minds. They folded dumplings together, rode their Phoenix bikes together, went to the photo studio together to take colored photographs, went to the supermarket together to get paper bags full of Maltose candies. How many references can you fit in a single line of dialogue? Shuimeng ran through these sepia-toned stories in a rapid-fire barrage. Although the anecdotes flew by faster than shooting stars, Jiang Shi could easily imagine each and every one of these scenes. The pale smoke, the tattered uniforms. Deep in the trench forged from clay and blood, two young men kept watch, their backs braced against one another's. Their long lashes glimmered with the light of the stars above. In the distance, one of their fellow soldiers played the harmonica, the plaintive melody floating into the wispy clouds. There was no battle tonight. The only sign of unrest was the faint, persistent haze and the dusky stubble that dotted these two young men's chins. She's legitimately having way too much fun. She's coming up with as many opportunities as humanly possible to at least have a moment to lovingly render all of these possibilities with her trademark sentiment and vivid prose. Eventually, they got old, Shuimeng said flatly. Now that the sentimental part of the story was over, he slowed down. Even the Cultural Revolution couldn't pry those two geezers apart. The cloying sweetness of love lingered even beyond death. Jiang Shi was silent for a long while. Then he closed the report and massaged his temples, as though he had a headache. Some said couples were like birds in a forest. When calamity struck, each flew their own way. But if the two old coots could stay together even through that decade of strife, Jiang Shi really didn't know if it was possible to turn Mo Run straight merely by shoving a nice girl into his arms. The straight learned something. Not much, but something. Maybe it wasn't necessarily that Mo Run was destined to be gay. Maybe he was simply fated to have Chu Wanning in his life. The end of the workday had arrived. As Going Home played in the background, Jiang Shi's predecessor's Chief Nangong's favorite song, the CWPB's workers trickled from the building. Some lived in the cultivation world and could ride their swords home without a second thought. Others lived among commoners. Since most ordinary citizens of the world no longer believed that gods, demons, and immortals coexisted alongside them, these cultivators concealed their abilities. Some rode the bus or the subway, while others drove, each disappearing into the brightly lit night. I don't think there's any point in continuing, Jiang Shi said, his back to Shuimeng and the Candle Dragon. He looked out of the floor-to-ceiling window at the traffic streaming by below. Let's leave it be. It took Shuimeng a moment to understand. Huh? Arms crossed, Jiang Shi glanced back at him. What I mean is, your assignment's over. No matter what they tried, the game ended the same way. Unless the cultivation world came up with a totally new research strategy, there was no need to keep running more experiments. Go home, said Jiang Shi. It was the first time Shuimeng had failed an assignment. Really, it was none of his business, but there was something that still weighed on his mind. He scraped the tip of his shoe against the carpet and said cautiously, I have a question. Jiang Shi turned to face him. Leaning back against the spotless window, he raised his lashes and looked appraisingly at Shuimeng. Go on. Shuimeng took a deep breath. When the simulation showed me his childhood, I realized he was probably around my age. So? So why don't we just find him and ask him if he'll cooperate with our research? If that turns into the punchline, I'm tracking her down. Jiangxi was quiet for a beat, then snorted. Genetic research is risky. The modern world isn't like the one you learned about in your history classes. These days, the cultivation world doesn't do things in such a crude and ignorant way. We'd never subject a free individual to something like that. Shuemeng was silent. It doesn't matter if he's a butterfly-boned beauty feast or not, Jiangxi continued. Wake up, kid. That dog-eat-dog world is a thing of the past. In the cool light of the chief's office, Shuemeng's face turned faintly pink. That's not what I meant, he mumbled. I just didn't know. Jiangxi swept his papers into an even pile, then looked up at Shuemeng. I know that's not what you meant, he said. But I'll remind you now, it doesn't matter who your dad is, kid. It doesn't matter how good your grades were, how many scholarships you won, how many shiny trophies are displayed on your mommy's bookshelf. Shuemeng's face went redder and redder. Before, he was embarrassed. Now, he was angry. I don't care how good a little worker bee you were under Chief Nangong, how many papers you stamped, how many projects you reviewed. Jiangxi ignored Shuemeng's growing fury. He locked the files in his drawer, then straightened his dark green silk tie with slender fingers. Under my leadership, you still have plenty to learn. With that, Shuemeng's overbearing manager strode past him and out the door. Shuemeng was shaking with anger. At last, he couldn't hold himself back. Jiangxi! Jiangxi only paused for a second at the threshold. He glanced back at his underling, mouth pressed into a thin line. Turn off the lights when you leave. Shuemeng was so mad he couldn't speak. It's a scene break. It was 7 o'clock when the last light went dark in the CWPB's office building. Of late, there had been no unrest to combat or any major projects with looming deadlines. No one was working overtime. Everyone had somewhere to be, whether it was meeting with friends or going on a date with their partners. Married couples curled up on their sofas, watching the flashing blue light of their TVs with a bowl of popcorn. Tall young lads put on their aprons and helped their parents put dinner on the table. They all had their own lives. Jiangxi might have been an agent of chaos, but he spoke the truth. There was no such thing as a perfect world without injustice or flaw, but the world they lived in today was undeniably better than that of the past. They were many generations removed from those tumultuous days of old, so much so that many of the figures and events of those eras had been submerged in the river of time, and countless souls had been reborn many cycles over. You might not be the person you once were, just as I might not be the person I once was either. But even so, we can be together. The young would grow old, just as what was fresh would rot, and the living would be felled to time. But the souls that intertwined with one another so closely would always be gifted new forms of flesh and blood. Those attachments, undiluted through each cycle of reincarnation, would make themselves known. Lovers would find themselves in each other's arms, in the past and in the future, entangled in each and every lifetime. Shuemeng said his goodbyes to the candle dragon and walked out into the night. Snowflakes drifted down from the dark sky and scattered in the golden lights of the bustling city. He had no umbrella, so he turned up his collar and sped toward the nearest bus stop. His breath misted out in clouds of white. Alongside him, in this city veiled by night and beyond, countless fates interwove and overlapped. The old man running Li Shifu's pan-fried buns was closing out the register. He was a good man and honest with his customers, and business was booming. He counted his bills with a smile, making plans to buy the Ancient Sword Forms box set from the bookstore on his day off. He loved inscrutable old books like that. Even if they were mystifying, he adored reading them. The daughter of the Lowe family was turning 26 in a few hours. She'd just gotten her master's in agriculture and forestry, and she was now in a taxi heading to a club downtown for her birthday. She didn't know she was about to reunite with her childhood sweetheart, the older boy who'd lived next door, then moved away, at the party her best friend was throwing her. Soon she would receive the love that was fated to be hers. I don't fucking like her. Meatbun. I hate. I hate this bitch. I can't. Mrs. Sun beamed and clicked her bright nails against the table as she watched patrons betting big in the glittering casino she owned. How nice it was to be rich. Miss Ye and her fiancé sat in a bridal shop, having already spent half an hour arguing seriously over the placement of one particular pearl on the gown. It was like that pearl was the most important thing in the world, and all their worries would disappear the moment the position of this little bead was finalized. What a sickening pair of lovebirds. Their only disagreement was about the placement of a pearl on her wedding dress. And what of another couple, 3 streets over? Mo Run and Chu Wanning, living their lives peacefully in this world. They weren't simulations or a game. They weren't Shui Meng's mission. But unsurprisingly, they were together yet again. The happy couple was currently fighting over something completely insignificant. Can't you pick a manlier movie, the kind that gets your blood pumping? The fight had started because Mo Run wanted to see a romance starring the famous actress Shun Fengro, while Chu Wanning preferred the action movie with Kung Fu-led Jen Songming. My face hurts. Ah! Chu Wanning was glaring at his boyfriend, eyes narrowed dangerously. Though Mo Run was half a head taller than him, Chu Wanning's aura was imposing. If not for the softness of his lashes, fluttering like flower pistils beneath the streetlights, he would have looked even more intimidating. Every time we go to the movies, it's either a comedy or a love story. Listen to yourself. Chu Wanning ground his teeth. We're taking deep breaths. Chu Wanning ground his teeth. The husky and his white cat Shizun. Do you have slop for brains? That has to be a cartoon, right? Won't the poster say a family-friendly romp? Mo Run gave his furious boyfriend his most pitiful puppy dog eyes. He tried to speak up for the equally pitiful film The Husky and His White Cat Shizun, but Chu Wanning cut him off. I can't handle your taste in movies anymore. Mo Run swallowed back his words. I told you I was done last time after... Oh, wow. It feels like these next 2 movie titles, she, literally, threw shit in a blender and picked out pairings at random. The way she's making me read this in his voice. I told you I was done last time. After Teletubbies versus Voldemort and Captain America versus the Powerpuff Girls. You're never, ever, ever going to convince me to watch trashy movies like that with you again. It seemed Chu Wanning had been holding this in for quite some time. A wave of furious scolding burst from his mouth, his rage making his objections sound totally nonsensical. I'm a cop, Mo Run. I'm still a cop once I clock out and take off the uniform. I can't keep losing brain cells all the time when I'm with you. Why are you looking at me like that? Mo Run still said nothing. You think I'll give in if you look at me like that? Please, you're a grown man. You're not embarrassed to go up to the box office and ask the lady for 2 tickets to The Husky and His White Cat Shizun. Mo Run kept looking at him with those woebegone eyes. Uncharacteristically, he contradicted him. My coworker told me it's not a cartoon. I don't know if it's good, but I swear it really is a serious drama. Chu Wanning finally lost it. No serious movie would have such a dumbass title. With that parting shot, he sped ahead like a shooting star. Upon realizing Mo Run hadn't followed him, that he was standing there watching him walk off, he grew even angrier. None, he threw over his shoulder. Mo-Run bit his lip and looked back at him in silence. If Chief Jang of the CWPB had been there to witness their fight to this point, he surely would have sighed and said, "Look how boring modern society is. There's no hope for these dumb fucks so down bad for one another. Why do they have to watch the same movie? Can't they buy separate tickets and each watch the film they want, then regroup? What's wrong with that? Are they two little girls who have to go to the bathroom holding hands between classes?" Jiangshi would think that way. After all, he was the high and mighty, big-brained Captain Jiang. At that moment, Chu Wanning was stewing in silence, hands shoved in the pockets of his black wool coat as he strode down the street. He shook off every attempt his boyfriend made to take his hand. "Wanning." Silence. "Come on, don't walk so fast. Let's talk things out." Mo-Run lowered his voice, mumbling under his breath. "I swear it won't be worse than Teletubbies vs. Voldemort. That one wasn't even that bad. I actually wanted to see the sequel, Sailor Hagrid. Not Sailor Hagrid, when it comes out next year." Unfortunately, Chu Wanning heard him. He whirled, eyes huge with horror. "What did you say? Say that again." "Never mind." He shook his head as if to banish the nightmarish image conjured by the movie title and swallowed. "Don't. I'll pretend I heard nothing." "Okay," Mo-Run said dolefully. Chu Wanning marched onward, coat flapping in the wind. He really didn't know what to say. Every time he thought he'd understood the depths of Mo-Run's terrible taste, Mo-Run would find an even trashier movie to push the limits of his imagination. Mo-Run followed him, just a step behind. They continued like this for several blocks before Mo-Run mustered the courage to speak again. "How about we decide with a round of rock, paper, scissors, or draw straws, or roll some dice?" His voice petered out. He pulled to a halt, having noticed something out of the corner of his eye. A light bulb went off. "Hey, Chu Wanning!" Chu Wanning's tall and handsome boyfriend stopped on the side of the road. In the hazy yellow glow of the streetlights, he pointed to the right, where a baked sweet potato stall stood. The shopkeeper was yelling, "Sweet potatoes for sale! Sweet potatoes!" He tried again. "Hey, Chu Wanning!" Chu Wanning ignored him. "Officer Chu!" He bit his lip, hiding a smile. He knew Chu Wanning, what he liked to eat, how he liked to be addressed. They'd known each other too long for him not to. As expected, Chu Wanning turned his head, though not the rest of him. His hands stayed in his coat pockets. He raised his chin and narrowed those lash-fringed eyes at the man under the streetlight. Mo-Run met his gaze. He'd expected this, but still, it was hard not to laugh. He wasn't quite sure what to do next. He considered what to say. The fruit of all his effort was one simple sentence. "You want some?" Chu Wanning stared at him. He took off his hat and scratched his head. "Baked sweet potatoes in the winter," he said with a smile. "Aren't they your favorite?" Chu Wanning didn't move. "Look, they have the kind that's white on the inside. You like those best, and they're hard to find. Have one, won't you? Don't be mad anymore." Finally, Chu Wanning's expression softened. He didn't look like a chunk of ice frozen overnight in the north anymore. He stood for a while, then turned with his cheeks still slightly puffed in indignance. After stalking back toward Mo-Run, he said, his voice toneless, as if he wasn't tempted at all, "No, I'll have 4. "Whatever you want." His handsome boyfriend looked at him in fond exasperation. Seriously, this man used to act like a wild and untamable panther. Mo-Run's doting had softened him over the years. Now he sometimes brought to mind a hissy little white cat. Honestly, he did. Mo-Run grinned. "Yep, have 4. But won't you be too full for dinner?" "Don't underestimate me. This is just an appetizer." "Perfect. Eat your appetizer, then we'll go have dinner and watch Jen Songming's movie." Chu Wanning accepted the piping hot sweet potato and took a bite. He shook his head, reining in the smile that threatened to betray him. "Or we can watch the husky and his white catches in." Mo-Run's eyes lit up. "Really?" I'll lose brain cells with you again." Mo-Run brightened in an instant. Joy and fondness bubbled up like fizzy tablets dropped in water, transforming everything into sugary sweetness. "You're the best!" He paused. Then, about Sailor Hagrid. Don't even think about it. Snow slowly blanketed the street. The lovers walked into the distance, leaving dark footprints, so very close together. Shuimeng's bus stopped at a crosswalk. He stared at the thronging crowd and colorful streetlights without seeing them, focused on his music. He pressed his forehead to the chilly window, neon lights glittering in his dark eyes. Yawning, he failed to notice the pair crossing the street with baked sweet potatoes in their hands, arguing about Sailor Hagrid. The traffic light turned green. The bus rumbled under him. They'd passed each other by. Shuimeng hummed along to the song in his earbuds. He was off pitch, but why should that stop him? He was in a great mood. His phone had just buzzed with a text from his mom. His dad was home from his work trip, and she was making his favorite Sichuan boiled fish and chicken in spicy red oil for dinner. He'd hum if he liked. Even if the world was ending, he'd finish his fish first. And wasn't it just like that? Life held infinite possibilities. A person might have a different career, birthplace, upbringing, and feelings. For a multitude of reasons, their appearance might have a million minor differences. But reincarnation couldn't change Shuimeng's love for Sichuan boiled fish, Chuaning's sweet tooth, or Mo Run's infatuation with chili oil wontons. Those things would never change. Their stories would lead to the same ending. That was the compromise fate granted these insignificant beings who dared reach for the skies. After all their hardship and suffering had passed, they would, someday, have a happily ever after with the one they loved. Those who loved deeply would always meet again. That's the end of that bonus story. What'd I fucking say? What'd I say? I said it, didn't I? I had to have said it. I know I said this in a previous stream when we started that story. I was like, it's all satirical fun and games, but watch. Watch. Because it's Meatbun, so you never know. She's not just gonna. Swallowing my rage. Oh, hold please. Jesus. So that's the end of the bonus stories in Volume 10. Volume 11, entirely bonus stories. Still have no idea what those bonus stories are. Still holding out for Shuimeng getting railed by twins. Or, either or. Something along those lines. But man, she has an absolutely infuriating knack for waxing poetic in a way that it's very effective. At least for me, it's very effective. The way that she comes around to a beautiful observation or insight or message or theme, anything like that. So it's not surprising that even in the midst of a whole bunch of satirical, self-referential, absolutely ridiculous, totally silly fun, she's still able to snatch back into something utterly gorgeous at the drop of a hat. There was more than just that last paragraph that was beautiful. I already yelled at her about it a few pages ago for having just a beautifully rendered paragraph in the midst of all the hijinks. So of course it would end on sentiment. Sentimental she is, oddly enough. Of what I was expecting to discover about Meatbun as an author when I first picked up Erha, sentiment, not on the list. Not on the bingo card at all. But she really is. And that is a compliment. That is sentimental, affectionate. Certainly. Henry said it feels like she's saying goodbye to the characters. It feels like a last day of school. You know, if this was the last bonus story that she wrote for it, agreed. Actually, there's a question. Were these bonus stories put in sequential order? I know that the first one, since this is the second one, the first bonus story was the first one that she wrote. Are the rest of them in sequential order, or have they rearranged stuff for whatever reason? They're in sequential order. Thank you, Zareem. Ooh, that makes me terrified. Because if they're in sequential order, then that means that the last story of volume 11 is the last story of Erha specifically. And she just pulled that ending moment out for like the second of many stories. So the fuck is she gonna say to me at like the end? You're not reading Meatbun if you're comfy, can I just say? If you're not worried, if you're not capital C concerned or capital T terrified at what she could potentially pull on you in the future, then you're not reading Meatbun. Or you're just not reading her correctly. Cause now I'm scared shitless. Oh, the back crossed out stuff. Thank you, love. Hang on. Yeah, because there's that ever evolving about the author page with the notable works. Yes, thank you. So there was, just to recap, under the notable works of Meatbun, there's God knows what rankings, top of the cultivation world, bestsellers list for 10 years straight. The Red Lotus Pavilion Decameron, banned by Xisheng Peak sect leader Shui and Yuheng elder Chu Wanning, no longer available for sale. He Who Failed as a People's Teacher, that one hurt, no longer available for sale due to complaints filed by Yuheng elder Chu Wanning. Bridge Architect Hua Binan, fuck you! No! Oh my god. 2019 winner of the Ghost Realms annual Fushi Roasting Writing Contest. 20 years on the Forbes Cultivation World's Billionaires ranking and still going strong. A biography of Zheng Shi. Original title: The Care and Keeping of a Beauty with Empty Nest Syndrome. A biography of Zheng Shi. Title changed due to unknown reasons. The Great and Admirable Sect Leader Shui Ziming. Original title: This So-Called... I'm so sorry. I have delivered plenty of silly and awful and tragic and romantic and powerful things. I can say this. The Great and Admirable Sect Leader Shui Ziming. Original title: This So-Called Straight Guy is Such a Snack. Title changed due to unknown reasons. So-Called Straight Guy. Is that... Literally, my face hurts. Oh my god. And then, the Dumb Husky and his white cat Shizun. Dumb being written in. Also being sold in another world. and others to come. Please look forward to them. Oh my god. Don't you love it when someone thinks they're funny because they're so fucking genuinely funny? She just says shit. She just says the wildest shit. And it's really true to form. The people, more often than not, the people who write the darkest, grittiest, most fucked up shit you could ever possibly imagine, delightful loons. Just toucans as people. Like, so bright and colorful and silly and funny. Like, they are typically the ones who can write the most twisted and devastated shit. It's very true. This is unsurprising and yet delightful to discover. Whew. Ooh, the spine. Thank you. Oh, the dragon symbol. Yeah, there was the dragon symbol's on the back page as well. So this actually makes it much easier to show you. Hang on. Yeah. Talking about that dragon symbol. No, the little dragon. No, look at him. That looks like a crest. Like a sigil crest situation. Like that could be like on Shuimeng's shield if he had one. Oh man, no, that's adorable. And oddly hilarious that it's the image on the spine of an absolutely harrowing volume. She's sick and twisted. Oh my god. Oh. So, it is 4:30. We are indeed ending a bit early today. And without a break, too. We're really ending a bit early. So, we are picking up with volume 11 on Thursday. There is no break. There is no nothing. I mean, obviously, we just got back to finally fucking finish this volume now that my internet's returned. So, Thursday is when we jump into volume 11. I have it here. It's sitting right over there. Somebody lovely sent it to me, and I know because it came with a note. And I had opened it, and I was like, oh shit, this is a gift. So I have the note sitting over there, and I'll let you guys know who was kind enough to send it to me when it became available. But that's what we get to do on Thursday. There were 2 bonus stories in this volume. If that's like a little sample of what we can expect from the rest of the bonus stories, we're in a lot of trouble. Because just in 2 bonus stories, you had one that was unspeakably hot and romantic. We'll leave it at those vague words. And then you had this last one, which was way too much fun to be having. So the mind reels as to what the rest of them could be. Oh my god, Henry says Thursday is Mo Run's birthday. Get the heck out of town. We know his birthday? I don't know why I'm surprised about this. We know his birthday. Thursday is Mo Run's birthday. Well, I mean, then instead of alternating between Mo Run and Chuan in co-hosts, it has to be Mo Run. It simply does. Oh my god, I'm so excited for volume 11. I'm putting, if I wanted to pin my hopes and dreams on getting one thing, I'm gonna be annoying about it. It is indeed Shuimeng and the twins. That's my wish list. There are plenty of things in bonus stories and fanfiction in general, and in bonus stories that I would love to see her do. Totally. You know, you could have a 12th volume of just bonus stories from Meatbun if so far this is the kind of shit she's gonna pull. I'd love to see it. The one thing on my actual, like, I dare to hope and wish list is Shuemeng versus one or more of the twins. It's gotta be. What else could we possibly expect from me, especially? Henry says he has frozen osmanthus cakes to celebrate and will be steaming them. Incredibly jealous, considering I've never had an osmanthus cake and I'm deeply curious about them. I am jealousy, Henry. You need to know that. Maddie says surely she knows about Shuemeng and the twins. Yeah, like, I guess that's one of the reasons why I'm like daring to even wish it, because it feels like one of those things that's surely she knows that she's got to follow through with that. She just set herself up so beautifully in so many ways. Like, come on. It's the closest that feels to, like, I could bet that was intentional, or that her intent was to have a bonus story that pays that off. Whew. Oh, Henry said he's also never had an osmanthus cake before. You have to give me a report, Henry. You realize you need to report your findings now. I must know. Oh, man. Okay. All right. I was in the middle of telling you guys things that you need to know, but I actually don't think I missed anything, which is rare for me. We're picking up on Thursday. It should take us 9, if I remember correctly, Tuxedo. It should take us 9 days, 9 sessions. And then we'll finish sometime in early May. And then that will be it for Erha. I'm still coming around to terms that I've actually ended the main story, let alone that I'll just be done with Erha in a month. That's still not real. Neither one of those things is real to me. Maybe it'll come on Thursday when we actually begin the final volume, even though it's bonus stories. Maybe that's when it'll sink in. Maybe by the end I'll have, like, gotten wine or something. I don't know. So, Thursday is when we start volume 11. Thank you so much for suffering through the previous stream so that we could finally get to the end of volume 10. We have book chats on Tuesdays and Thursdays for YouTube members and patrons. And on Thursday, we'll be talking about the gloriousness of what we read today. And to all the people who were lucky enough to get a membership thanks to Liv's generosity earlier, that is exactly what the memberships are for. It's so that you get to pop in for book chats when they happen. And, you know, we get to chat about gay books. What can I tell you? So that's what's happening on Thursday. I will see you guys in a couple of days. I hope you have a lovely week, and I hope the start of your week has gone well. And, I mean, damn, on Thursday is the real, true, and final beginning of the end. So I will see you then. Take care of yourselves.